Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of our Open Mic program. And as always, we are welcoming Senator Boozman with us. And Senator, thanks so much for taking time and talking with us here on Open Mic.
Well, Bob, as always, thank you so much for having me. We certainly appreciate your program.
Now, you know what I really thought we would kick off, this is a surprise question because I've seen the media has changed a little bit. You know, I always thought the media was kind of like a pit bull. You know, if you remember Sam Donaldson just eating up poor Jimmy Carter. Do you remember those days? Maybe I'm getting too old.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was bad. And then you've seen some with Trump. I don't think there was ever a time where they just weren't wrestling with him. But the question they asked the president here recently is what his favorite ice cream was. And I'm talking about President Biden. So I thought those were kind of nice, easy questions, you know. So what would be your favorite?
Those are nice, easy questions.
Well,
I'm a pretty bland guy. I'm a vanilla, maybe with some caramel or chocolate syrup.
That's me. I'm plain vanilla. Everybody knows I'm a vanilla guy. So that's it.
But the other thing, Bob, is you, in fact, as I've been in town and in the area in different times, have brought me various snacks from the Sonic, you know, as they mix up all of their stuff that is the opposite of, it's scrumptious.
Oh, it's
But
fantastic.
I don't know that it's the best thing for you if you eat it all the time. So
you know what my pharmacist told me? My pharmacist says, Bob, that's comfort food, and you need lots of comfort.
yeah, exactly. I need lots of comfort right now too, so I can relate to that.
Okay, well, now that's my softball question. I just want to feel like one of those national people talking to President Biden now. Hey, what's your favorite ice cream? Okay, you know, but it is something.
Well, put your Mike Wallace hat back on now.
Okay. Oh, I'll tell you what, we have too much fun with these interviews. But we got to talk about the senators were sworn in for the trial of the impeachment. Now, we got to put on that hat. That happened yesterday, so let's talk about what happened there.
It did happen, and it's really a very solemn occasion. It should be that impeachment is rare. It only happens very, very, on occasion. We are going through it again now twice in a period of a year. So we were all sworn in. You have to take the oath, and then you go down and actually sign your name in a book. So we did that, and everyone was there, and we will begin the trial in about 2 weeks. We agreed to a motion that was made regarding how the trial would be run, and what that is the minority leader, Senator McConnell, and then Senator Schumer, now the majority leader. They get with the president's representatives, his lawyers, and say, look, we want to do this in such a way that everybody gets to bring forward the case. Here's the rules we'd like to do. And so that is also something that we agreed on as we go forward. So going to give the president's people a couple weeks to get ready and defend themselves. And so we'll actually start the trial now in a couple weeks.
Now, Senator Paul issued a constitutional point of order saying it was unconstitutional to impeach someone no longer in office. And that was one of those litmus tests, right? I mean, it was 55 to 45. There was 5 senators, which pretty much the same senators, I hate to say, in the Republican Party that just were so aggravated with the president, they kind of went that way. But that means it cannot pass, right? I mean, if that's kind of knowing what they will vote like.
Well, I think it was a good litmus test, but also it was the points that he made were valid ones. The constitutional scholars are divided over this, and supposedly, as you have a case like this, an impeachment trial, the Chief Justice sits. Well, we don't have the Chief Justice up there. We've got Senator Leahy, a senior Democratic lawmaker, senior senator. There's just all kinds of things that are not quite in order. We're not trying a president. We're trying a private citizen. He's no longer president. You impeach somebody to get rid of them. He's already gone. And so because of that, as I go around the state and visit with people, I hear a lot of, why are we doing this? There's so much other things going on. We've got the pandemic. We're fighting that battle. And then the other thing, Bob, that we know, and you know this so very well with your advertisers, visiting with the small business community constantly, we're fighting the economic battle that's going on that really is devastating so many people. So I guess the thought is, he's gone. Why waste the money? Why waste the time? As you point out, Bob, this is a litmus test, and you've got 5 people essentially not voting for the Rand Paul procedure. I think you'll have about the same number voting for impeachment. So again, that's another reason that why waste the time, why waste the money if the votes aren't there? Essentially, you're going to try the president twice and exonerate him twice. I don't know, how that helps them.
When you look at that, though, looking at the impeachment, it's something I want to address. Impeach from the House is a impeachment, but it's not convicted unless the Senate does. So really, it looks down in history books. I keep saying it'll look political because it's not bipartisan.
Well, the problem too is the House did this from the moment they first started until it was over. It was 52 hours, something along that magnitude, which is nothing. I mean, this is a very, very serious situation when you impeach a president. So it's what we call a snap impeachment. And so they did it. And the danger is that now, when you don't like a president, when you want to remove him, when you want to punish him, you impeach him. And impeachment, for most of our country is just being, almost something that just hardly ever occurred. Now we've had, two in a very short period of time. And so people in the future are going to think, well, we don't like this president. We're in the majority of the House or whatever. We can do this. Let's do it. And so this needs to be a very serious situation. It doesn't need to be a precedent that impeachment just doesn't really mean anything in the future except a way to use as a political tool. And I think that's a real danger.
Another thing we want to talk about is preserving the filibuster. Explain why the filibuster is so important.
In the House, the majority rules. If you have 51%, then again, you win. In the Senate, it's a little bit different. A lot of the votes that we do are if you have 51 votes, then it does go ahead and become law, or the resolution passes. Sometimes people object and want a higher standard, and they're able to do that. And because of that, what it does is it forces you to compromise. And because of that, it's not just winner take all by the majority party, forces you to compromise with minority party. And so as a result, it slows things down, and I think, many times gets better legislation. And you say, well, you can't get anything done that way, but that's simply not true. When you look at the things like the farm bill that we got done, criminal justice, the list just goes on and on. Some of the water bills, infrastructure bills, the bills that we passed related to COVID were done unanimously. So you can get things done, but it does force people, rather than just do things because you are the majority party and you're pressured to do things. It forces debate, and I think you get a much better outcome. And so that's kind of on the line now, because sometimes, as the Democrats put out some of these kind of far out things, the Green New Deal, things like that, trying to spend another $2 trillion right after we voted to spend $900 billion a few weeks ago, just to say that you're doing things. Because of that, the filibuster slows those things down. Doesn't mean you can't get it done, but it does mean that you've got to get some votes from the other side, whichever side that is, in order to get the bill passed. And that forces you to compromise, which, and come up with a better bill many times.
Well, Senator, thanks so much for taking time and talking with us. A lot to keep up with, and we'll keep you on the radio, keeping us up what's going on in D.C., which it seems like it changes hourly.
Well, thank you for having me as always. I look forward to visiting with you. And we talk about all this stuff that's going on and this and that. I'm really, we need to get things behind us. We need to move on. And I'm really looking forward to a year where we work hard to defeat the virus, get back to normalcy, which we all desperately want. We're so pleased and happy with the fact that we were able to get this vaccine in a situation where we could roll it out. The rollout now is smoothing out, and hopefully in the very near future we'll have the majority of folks vaccinated. And then along with that, the economy has held up pretty good considering all that's gone on. And so we need to continue to support that. So I'm really encouraged. I think it's going to be a good year, and it's going to take everybody working together. But I think everybody's ready to continue to roll up their sleeves and push us along in a positive way.
Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of KFFB's Open Mic program. We've been talking with Senator Boozman. You can find this interview in its entirety at kffb.com.